welcome to another episode of Fully Equipped. Kris, we have not been in the studio for a minute, so it's good to get back, but we have been on the travels. But first of all, mate, how are you? How was your Christmas? How was your New Year?
Christmas, New Year were awesome.
Yeah.
I spent 2 weeks in Orlando, visit Mickey, did the Universal thing, did the SeaWorld thing, played golf, did some fishing. Fishing was awesome.
Don't take you as a fisherman.
I'm a Midwest guy, a fisher person. Yeah. Can't genderify fishing. I chartered a Disney fishing trip.
Fuck, of course you did.
Of course I did. Why wouldn't I? And that was my surprise gift for a couple of the guys in my family. And so we did this 4-hour fishing charter on the waterways of Disney. It's all catch and release, but between the four of us, in a 4-hour trip, we caught 43 largemouth bass.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, it was insane.
Was a small world just playing the entire time?
No, I would have killed myself.
Okay. That's how I imagine chartering a Disney fishing trip would be. To be like being on the small worldwide.
No, we were in the Seven Seas Lagoon. We were hanging out over by the Contemporary Resort, back of the Contemporary and Bay Lake. And I mean, the guide was awesome, as you would expect with Disney. And they provide all the gear, all the bait, everything like that. We fished with live bait, and
You got 43 fish. That's cool.
Yeah,
that's fun.
43 fish in 4
Were
hours.
they good size? Like, was it like a good struggle, or was it pretty simple? Like it was at a farm?
No, it was. We caught. I've got pictures. I'll show you. But we caught some good size bass. My stepdad and my great uncle tied with 12 fish each, and I had the fish of the day. It was right around like 22 inches, and of all things to forget, the guide did not have a scale, but he said it was close to 7 pounds.
Nice.
So 22-inch fish at around 7 pounds ish was a great fish to catch.
Good for you, man.
It was awesome, and 6 rounds of golf in 2 weeks.
Nice.
Most golf I've played in quite some time.
There you go.
And I mean, we had a blast, man. It was great. What about you? Did you do anything fun and exciting?
Yeah, a lot of family stuff. A lot of hanging with the wife and the kids and all of that kind of stuff. It was a good time. New Year was really mellow, which is exactly what I wanted. I just didn't want to do anything, so we ended up watching Encino Man with the kids for the first time. They thought Paulie Shaw was the funniest thing in the world.
He's pretty damn funny.
So he was incredible. I don't know why he kind of went off the map a little bit, but they loved that. But Andrew and I just chilled out a little bit. We didn't really do much. And then Christmas was good. Kids had a great time. Santa brought them new bikes, so they were stoked on that. So we've been riding our bikes a lot.
Nice.
And they're back. Went back to school on Tuesday, yesterday, because this is Wednesday, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they went back to school yesterday. So that's been nice because they've just been getting bored at the end. But outside that, it was really, really nice. The new year has kicked off. I mean, Fairway Jockey doesn't stop, so my brain doesn't shut off. Mura Golf doesn't stop, so my brain doesn't shut off.
Right.
But outside of that, it was really nice. Tried to play some golf. I've moved back to steel. So after the Carlsbad trip,
which was awesome,
which was incredible. It was a great time. It was a great time hanging with you for that period. Great time hanging with Jackie Boy as well and getting to know him. Jack Hirsch on the golf side of things. Steve was great too. And so. But we did some things everywhere where we went, and those videos. Some videos are live, some videos are not live yet because of embargo. But everything came back to steel. More consistent, better for me. And so when we went to KBS and we did like a full-on fitting for me, I don't think we got it on camera. It was more just to muck around, but it was incredible, just the difference for me. So, and I've had a steel shaft in for the last week or two, and just. It feels more consistent to me.
For sure.
So,
and we were at KBS with those guys, and we were going through and testing the different KBS product. We had opportunity to hit a new prototype, which is always fun, always exciting. Anytime you get the blank shaft with no preconceived notions of what it's supposed to do was pretty cool. So that was fun. They sent you a set.
They sent me a set of the steel shaft that we were testing, and they sent me a set of the steel shaft that I fit into.
Yep.
So
And who was it that suggested you pull that steel shaft that you ended up?
It was one of the master fitters while we were gone. I believe his name was not Chris. He's
Definitely
not a
not
friend.
Chris.
He's not a friend
Not
of
Chris.
mine.
Nope, doesn't know anything.
No, you did you pulled the right thing there. You're like, I think we need to try the C-Tape Elyte and the 110S, and it was a game changer. That coupled with, honestly, I'm really enjoying the T100 heads, but that coupled with the 3D irons from Cobra, once they arrive, I cannot wait to put them in the bag.
We had, I mean, recapping that Carlsbad trip, we got so much content, did so many cool things, and like each OEM, like we were kind of talking about before that trip, is a totally different vibe, totally different experience, and working with the different fitters, the different approaches, you know, how it is that they talk about shafts, talk about fitting, and then just going through and testing the product with their staff. It's a great experience. It's a really cool vibe, but they really do separate themselves.
They do. They really do.
I would say that, I mean, just from a golf nerd, gear junkie, data junkie, the Titleist experience was probably the most in-depth experience we went through.
Yep.
I mean, we tested everything. And we tested everything independently of each other. So driver, each fairway wood, and then starting from the last fairway wood, testing hybrids, testing driving irons, testing a variety of different long iron options.
Yep.
And then mid irons, and then short irons, and then wedges, and then putter. And each wedge was tested independently. So it was a really cool, thorough experience top to bottom.
Yeah, I got to work with Lucas Bro at Titleist. He was awesome. I mean, he works with Ian Fraser and all of that kind of stuff as well. So I was very lucky to be paired with him. Just call me Timu Ian.
Yeah.
You know, I'm the Timu Ian.
Timu Ian. I like it.
Better accent though. No offense, Ian. But he's very in depth. He's very technical. I think the thing I liked most about his approach was he wanted to start from the top and go to the bottom.
Yep.
And did a true gapping through the fitting of, okay, this is how far you're driving the ball. Next, we need to go here. And then I think the coolest part for me when I was doing the work with him was we found the optimal window of launch for me.
Yeah.
If anything is between 115 to 120 feet in the air at apex, that is optimal launch for me. It'll get me the longest carry, the best rollout, all of that kind of stuff. Oh, that was really, really cool. And he was just a really good dude, someone that I could definitely have a beer with as well, which is nice because then you have that really good interaction with everyone. But he was really, really cool. I really loved, and the video's live now, guys, so please go check out that QI35 video because that was one of my favorite moments of the trip going to the Kingdom.
That was so cool.
Felt like I was stepping into something special, like when I went to Pebble for the first time, when I went to the old course in Scotland.
Yep.
When I went to Band, like it had the Rolex clock there, like it was just really, really special. But doing the driver fitting with Dwayne, really his thought process of fitting you to a shaft was incredible to me, and made so much sense after we went through it. But I also thought it was really funny that I've never been fit into the TR red in my life. I've always been a blue guy. And he's like, "This is the shaft for you." And then as soon as he put it in, I just saw it. We just saw it different. Yeah, it was just incredible how different it was. But yeah,
I like their approach this year. TaylorMade has a really, really cool approach, and they're putting an emphasis on fitting. And the QI35 product standalone, really solid.
Yep,
it's exciting to hit. It looks great.
Yeah,
it checks the box in a lot of different categories, and there's enough separation between the head offerings that they have that, I mean, they have something that covers the majority of players out there. But the emphasis on fitting and them developing a fitting app. Now, I've talked about over the years how we train our true spec fitters, and specifically when it comes to shafts. I mean, we have a shaft wall that has 100 driver shafts, 50 fairway, 50 hybrid, and then plus. And then you have 170 plus iron shafts and wedge shafts, and all of them do something different. So educating our guys on understanding loads and releases and how it corresponds to bend profiles has been something that we've been training as a brand agnostic fitting entity for quite a while. Now to see an OEM kind of jumping on that same ideology, but then taking it a step further and partnering with Foresight, building fiducials into the heads.
What'd you call me?
A fiducial.
God,
I mean, yeah, ducial with the emphasis there. But the new Qi35 fitting heads specifically have 6 fiducials built into the head so that they can accurately measure across the board the same way every time they're used with an optic-based type of launch monitor. And Dwayne was able to capture closure rate. And that was kind of the secret sauce to identifying your release pattern as a player, giving it a quantifiable measurement of, yes, if you are over 2,400 on your closure rate, then you are a fast release pattern. And then if you are under that 2,400, then you are a slow release pattern.
And I was at 3,000.
Yeah.
So as you said in the video, above average.
Above average. Yeah. Above average. And so the higher that number gets, the more active the tip section, just to allow for a little bit of a delay in that face closing on you. And
similar to using a plumber's neck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And as soon as you put that TR red into the hands and started to marry your release pattern with the bend profile of the shaft, you had that aha moment almost instantly.
Instantly.
And I turned around and I asked Dwayne, I said, well, how many times do you get 2 or 3 shafts into it and you just don't have something that works? And he just kind of chuckled and go, almost never.
Yeah.
So, I mean, understanding how to quantify what a player is doing and then match it with an appropriate shaft, and that controls left to right dispersion almost immediately. So it was really cool to watch. And your reaction was as genuine as it gets.
Yeah, everything you get from me is genuine, especially when it comes to golf, because I do want to become a better golfer this year. But it was really, really cool. And look, I can't wait to get further down the line in regards to doing a fitting with you and actually like starting to go through the process of what should be in my bag going into 2025. Between the drivers, between irons, wedges, all of that kind of stuff. I think the other aha moment I had, and we've got a bunch of stuff we've got to get to, I know, but the other aha moment I had was putting a 46-degree wedge in the bag.
Yeah.
And that's something that Lucas and I were going through as well, because it means that from 130 yards in, I can use one club if I want to. It's such a utility club for me. If I want to knock it down, I can. If I want to use it around the greens, I can. If I want to hit 100 yards, I can. If I want to hit 110, 90, 80, it's wild how much that has just changed my thought process on how I should utilize wedges. Usually it's like use a 50 and a 54 and a 58 right. Or 52, 56, 60, whichever way you want to go. But it's kind of opened my eyes to some stuff in that regard, which is kind of cool.
And you don't see a lot of amateur players that have a 46-degree SM10 wedge in place of a set match pitching wedge.
Yep.
So, yeah, to see you walk away with that, I mean, I don't typically recommend that wedge type of setup for the majority of amateur players.
Yep.
And that's just from a gapping perspective and a consistency perspective, because you are still looking at a pitching wedge most of the time as a full swing club to take advantage of the same technology that's in the set. But for you, it kind of highlighted the scoring zone for you, gave you some versatility, gave you another option that you can use for a variety of different shots. So, it was a cool conclusion.
Yeah, this won't take the place of my pitching wedge. This will take the place of my 50-degree.
Oh, okay, so you still have
50-degree will stay full shot, right? For the 135, 140, whatever that goes for me, depending on where I'm playing.
So you still have a pitching wedge in the bag as well.
But the 46-degree is going to act literally as it's never going to be full swing.
Okay.
So like as I said, 125, 130 in. It's pure feel. It's pure knockdown. It's all of everything you could want to do with that club. It's a utility wedge. It's wild.
Gotcha. Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you still had a T100 pitching wedge.
I removed my 50-degree.
Got it. So then what's the next wedge in the set? Do you go 54?
54.
Okay, so 46 to 54. Okay. And then what loft do you play the pitching wedge at?
At its standard loft.
At standard loft on the T100.
So if I'm playing a full shot, I'll use the pitching wedge.
Got it.
If I'm playing like something inside of that where I need to feather it a little bit and I don't want to chunk it and I want to finesse it, I'll use the 46 degree. And then around the greens, I can bump and run it.
Yeah, that is.
It's really cool. Like
that's really unique.
Next time we go play, like you'll see what I'm talking about because we haven't played since because you've been on vacay and all of that kind of stuff. Like we'll go play and you go, that does work for you.
Yeah, I no doubt.
Yeah.
Man, there was. We've been out and about running and gunning for the last several weeks because right after Carlsbad, we rolled into player testing for Golf Magazine, golf.com club test for 2025. So I
went into Black Friday, Cyber Monday.
We were, as soon as we got back from Carlsbad, we were just rocking and rolling. And then that rolled right into the holidays. And now here we are, first time in the studio in weeks. And
we really haven't spoken about what's been going on with our golf game.
Not only with our golf game, but just in the golf industry on tour with all these releases. I mean, we've had a few embargoes drop. Like you said, videos are up. And some of the content that we had an opportunity to shoot is rocking and rolling on the social channels and living on the YouTube pages. And stuff that I shot with True Spec is living on their YouTube pages and the True Spec channels. And I mean, man, we've already had first PGA Tour event of the year.
Yep.
And
35 under by Hideki, right?
Yeah, let's talk about that. I mean, Kapalua, have you played it?
No, never.
So I've played the Plantation course 3 times, and that golf course, depending upon where the trade winds are, is a nightmare. And there is not a flat hole anywhere on that golf course. And I mean, depending upon where the trade winds are, the front 9 is either a nightmare or the back 9 is either a nightmare, or you just have it covering the mountain. And I mean, you're hitting shots out over the crap and letting the trade winds bring it back into play. So there's a lot of trust there. So to look at some of the scores, Hideki posted 65, 65, 62, 65, 35 under.
It's wild.
I mean, you think about 4 rounds of golf and you birdie 2 entire rounds worth of golf. That's nuts to me. I can't even wrap my head around it. It sets a record at 35 under.
What does that tell you, though? Does it tell you that the course is set up too easy? Does it tell you the guys are just getting better? I know he also putted lights out with his new putter, his new center shafted, not so much center shafted, Scotty Cameron. But
yeah, the 009 prototype center shaft. And, I mean, it was just kind of a fluke that he's looking around and seeing guys, more and more guys, putting with center shafted putters and not even referencing the zero torque, the torque balance, or craze or anything like that, just center shafted putters. Hey, Scotty team, can you make me one of those? To which, of course, they say, yeah, the guy with the largest Scotty Cameron collection in the world, sure, we can make you one. So here comes the 009 prototype center shafted blade and putts lights out with it and makes everything he looks at.
Everything.
I mean, it was absolutely insane to watch. And then having played that golf course, it gives me a whole new appreciation for how good a golf he played.
That's what I mean. Did he just play lights out, or is the court like what? Why do you think the scoring was so high? Because it wasn't just him. Like Morikawa was 1 or 2 strokes behind him. No,
yeah.
Like everyone played well. We were talking about earlier because Homa just we'll get into Homa as well. But Homa full equipment change. But what did he shoot?
So Homa shoots 69, 69, 67, 68. Finishes at 19 under and loses by 16 shots.
That's what I mean. Like, did Hideki just play lights out, or was the course just set up super easy?
The course is definitely scoreable if the winds aren't blowing.
Okay.
And the greens are generally receptive. They roll true. There's not a ton of undulation on several of those greens. So, as good as those guys are, if the greens are receptive and they're able to just throw darts and not worry about 40 plus mile an hour trade winds, it's scoreable.
Yeah.
I've shot under par on that golf course on 9 holes. And I was saying, the trade winds on the front 9, I shot 42, make the turn. There is not a breath of wind on any of the holes and shoot 2 under.
Yeah.
On the back. And it's like, same guy. I didn't feel like I hit it any better. Didn't feel like I putted any better, but there was 0 wind on the backside of the mountain. And it was just like, oh, yeah, this course isn't that hard. But when you're watching your ball move 50 plus yards in the air because of 40-mile-an-hour winds, that adds a different element.
No, it's fair.
But yeah, I mean, Max comes out, brand new deal with Cobra, and plays really good golf.
And 19 under is really good golf.
Yeah. And I mean, post 19 under for the event, and it's like, hey, nice top 30 finish.
Right.
But I mean, as Cobra, you have to be happy with that finish.
You have to be stoked with it. And if you're Max Home, you have to be stoked with it as well. You have to be stoked with the fact that you played really, really well. You could trust in the irons that you've been testing and the woods that you've been testing. I think you put the wedges in play as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's fully committed in there. Yeah,
the only thing he's still kept is his Scotty Cameron Circle T putter. But
yep.
And ball is same with Titleist balls, right?
I believe so, yeah, for right now.
So he should be really, really happy with it, and so should Cobra. Cobra's got really good product out there. I think and all of his irons are 3D printed as well, is my understanding. And I've hit those 3D printed irons, and I can't stop thinking about them. So
you are obsessed.
I get it. I think they're a fantastic iron, and I think he's going to do really, really well this season. It's good for Cobra too, because Cobra needs someone to kind of come out and do something really, really good for them too. They've had a really cool story over the last few years, but they just haven't had the pro presence to really kick it into gear once they lost Bryson, and Ricky hasn't been Ricky for a minute, and so it's really good that they've got Homa on the books now. So it should be good for them.
Yeah, Ricky moved the needle for quite a while for them. He was carrying the load for Cobra as a tour presence for quite some time. And then like you said, Bryson obviously making that move to live, lost a little bit of the star power there. And you've got Gary Woodland on staff, and Gary, having worked with him a couple times, awesome guy, and struggled with some health issues, and still kind of
way back, right?
Yeah, he's still kind of bouncing back from that. And I mean, having Max on staff now, there's a young player that gets the social media component, mixing it up with people, has the personality. And I think, great addition.
Has an opportunity to win a major. Has the game to win a major. It's been a while since they've won a major. I think the last one was Bryson.
Yeah.
Before he left.
And I mean, you were talking about Ricky, which is a good segue into
TGL.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, last night watching him on TGL, it's like, man, this guy is a stud.
Yeah, I was watching the Suns game. And then I decided to make a pivot over to TGL because I nearly threw the remote control at the TV. So if I can go on, producer Mark, can I go on a quick Phoenix Suns rant or no?
Absolutely. I'm intrigued.
I don't understand what they're doing. I don't understand how they can have that much talent on the team and that good of a coach and have zero bloody identity whatsoever. And I want to swear my ass off right now, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm doing everything in my power not to. But fair. I do not understand how you can have Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and Kevin Durant and Coach Bud and Tyus Jones on a vet bloody minimum, and you can't beat the Charlotte Hornets, who have only won 7 games, now 8 because we shut that game away, and we're 3 games below 500. Like, Ishbia, I love you. I love what you're trying to do. But if the one is a championship here, go get some people that want to play. Go get some people that want to win. Anyway, I digress. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I need to get that out of my system. Otherwise, I was just going to be annoyed for the rest of the day.
Just had to exercise that demon. I understand.
Sonny came home from karate last night, and Andrew's like, how you doing? I'm like, no, whatever. Like, I was in such a bad mood. But yeah, TGL. I thought it was cool. Like, I think they need to mic up the players a little bit more.
Sure.
I think they need a little bit more interaction with the players. I loved the booing. It reminded me of 16 at the Waste Management. So I loved what they were doing there with that. I love that they were playing off real grass.
I was going to say, what'd you think about just throwing a strip of rough out there and watching these guys just take beaver pelt divots?
I love it.
In the middle of a studio.
I much prefer that than them, because you actually saw them miss shots.
Yeah.
Like, you saw, like, if they were just hitting off a mat, they would just stripe it every single time. I thought the technology behind it was really, really cool in regards to the green changing directions and breaks and all of that kind of stuff. Every single hole that changed. The unfortunate thing was Ricky's team got their asses handed to them.
Yeah,
and so it would have been funner if it was a closer game or match, whatever you want to call it. But if I'm putting this as like a secondary market to PGA Golf DP golf, all of that kind of stuff, and I'm looking at the matches versus this, I much prefer to watch the TGL than the match.
Okay. Fair enough.
Like, and they're the same category to me.
I would say it was definitely more entertaining. I worked a TaylorMade Qi35 launch event yesterday and was out with the team from TaylorMade, and we turned on the TGL event while we were at dinner, and we were sitting there watching it and kind of taking some nuggets of commentary and getting feedback from some other industry professionals. So that was entertaining. At the my whole vibe and takeaway from it was entertaining. The commentary needs work. Like you said, the engagement from the players, but it's like golf is a single sport. It's not a team sport. So for these guys to interact and talk trash and kind of engage is very out of their element. And you have a lot of these guys that are very introverted that don't typically engage when they're in their office. It's just tunnel vision. I'm here to hit shots, make putts, and cash checks. And now you put them in a team environment where they are mic'd up, they're on camera, and there was a little awkward, like, dead time. There was kind of like some awkward transitions there. I'm sure some growing pains that they'll figure out, but
100%.
And all in all, it was entertaining.
It was. The only thing I wish they'd also change into is I wish that instead of it being a flag, I wish the hammer was a hammer.
Wish the hammer was a hammer.
Just throw a hammer.
Just throw a physical hammer.
Or make it something where it's like you hit a gong or something like that, and that's the hammer that's being thrown. Something along those lines would be a lot more fun. That way, it just makes it a little bit more dramatic and
I mean, that would step it up a little bit.
And fun. But yeah, outside of that, I do think the commentary was a little bit stale, but that'll get better as time goes on. It'll be interesting, like if you use like a Riggs or something like that from Barstool, that's probably going to get shit-faced while he's there. And it's going to get more loud and loud.
That's what we need.
Loud and loud and loud. And Frankie Borelli just yelling at people trying to throw pizza down their throat and show them their socks.
I think we need more rednecks on TGL.
I don't disagree. I mean, even Colton Drew would be really, really good as the commentary on that. And not because we're, part of the same company and what have you, but they are entertaining as heck and they know how to get the best out of people. And
absolutely,
as you can see from when you watch, a subpar podcast, like I think that would be incredible to have them running that show too.
What's your hot take here? Rory and Tiger, did they add anything?
I mean, they didn't yesterday because they weren't playing. They were just spectators in the background, no different to DJ Khaled being there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What was that?
Gatorade.
Gatorade.
But yeah, I mean, there was no different to Khaled being there. Like, they were just people in the crowd watching people play golf in an arena.
Yeah.
They weren't wearing, Tiger was wearing Sunday red, but Rory just looked like he was rocking up to get a drink with some mates.
Yeah, he was just there hanging out. It's, I know that they have a lot invested in this and that there is a vested interest for it to be successful. So yeah, I'm kind of on the same page as you, as I would like to see some more color commentary. I'd like to hear some of the player interactions. If they did turn around and just start shit talking each other, that would be entertaining.
Yep.
And I mean, I don't know, maybe you introduce a betting component to it to where there's an opportunity there to throw some cash down. Yeah, maybe it benefits charity.
Yep.
Who knows? But
that'd be interesting.
At least add something, a little more depth to it to where there's
adding all the
more
club data
engagement
as well, like speed, distance, height, all of that, spin rate.
That'd be cool. They got the tech for it.
Well, it's all there. Yeah,
exactly. It's all there. Right there.
The other thing I did like though, especially on the putts, was the 40-second countdown.
Yeah,
I like that a lot because they just couldn't take time to read it, and they you know what I mean.
They should do that on tour.
They should do that on tour.
Get a shot clock.
40 seconds. They did it in baseball.
40 seconds on the green, ready, go.
Yeah,
I like that.
But it was good. I thought that was really, really cool. Because they putt like we do. Because we don't sit there over a putt for 16 minutes reading it and having the books and blah, 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 blah. They're like, what do you think? And you saw it. You saw like that. Do you think it's going to go a little bit right? Yeah, it's going to go a little bit right. Okay, cool. And then they putt and it goes dead straight.
Yeah.
Welcome to my bloody world.
Welcome to amateur golf. That would be an interesting turn of events if you all of a sudden put a 40-second restriction on a player as soon as he removed his ball mark and was ready to putt. You got 40 seconds, ready to go. I think that would that might do something for pace of play. I mean, there's some guys out there that may
Just makes it more interesting.
get a penalty or
Just
two.
makes it more interesting.
Yeah, agreed. Golf needs.
It'll
a
never
little-
happen, which is fine. But I like that part of it. But no, I thought it was entertaining. It might be a little bit too long of a format. Like the 15-hole format, like why 15?
Yeah,
If you're going to do 15, you might as well do 18.
may as well do 18. Yep.
But you could see it getting stale around hole 9, 10, where the players were like, well, this, especially with the blowout.
Yeah,
You know,
the blowout
so
was
it's like
a
if
little
you
bit of a
can't
poor
win,
showing.
if you can't win, maybe just nix it.
Yeah,
You know,
have a mercy rule in place.
Yeah, a mercy
we're
rule,
getting stomped.
you know, or what's it called in gambling when you re-up the bet?
Re-up the bet like a press.
Yeah, press, or you can press, and then a new game begins.
That would be cool.
You know what I mean? So like that way it means something. But outside of that, I thought it was entertaining. I thought it was good. I thought it was fun. Once again, commentary, all of that stuff. But I'll definitely tune in again next Tuesday to see what it's all about. I'll tune in for probably for like 3-4 more episodes, unless my wife yells at me because she's like, "What are you watching?" And I'm like, "It's the TGL. I got to watch it for work." She's like, "No, you don't.
No, you don't.
This is horrible. Turn it off." And I was like, "Go do your puzzle." So she did a puzzle for like 30 minutes while I kept watching it.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. I mean, nothing wrong with that. Hey, we're talking about all of the stuff that we have just kind of been unplugged from for the last few weeks while life was happening, and I mean, we're right in the middle of like Mizuno launch week. Like they have a new product launching every day this week.
Yeah.
And they have some really good stuff. We didn't
Mizuno's
see
great.
Mizuno in Carlsbad.
We did
obviously.
not. We did not.
And I mean, some of the irons and wedge launches that they have. And do you have any insider information from Fairway Jockey early sales or anything?
Early sales are doing really well. The Mizuno customer loves Mizuno. So the irons are doing really, really good. They're selling pretty well straight off the bat in regards to like pre-orders and what have you. But outside of that, I think there's a lot of waiting.
Yeah.
I think everyone's still waiting for the new stuff to come out, before everything to come out so they can make a decision on what they want to do.
So they can test it all before they pull the trigger. I mean, golf equipment, it just keeps getting more and more expensive. And people have finally caught on to the fact that, hey, if I'm going to dump $4, $5, $6+ thousand on a new set, I want to get fit for it.
Yeah, want to get fit for it, or I want to make sure if I want to get the next evolution of what I want to make sure I see everything in the same category before I make a decision. I want to see what people are saying. So, for instance, embargo has lifted on TaylorMade, so everyone's seeing TaylorMade, but there's still a couple of other companies that haven't lifted their embargo yet, meaning you haven't seen anything about it. And so, if it's me, I'm sitting there going, well, okay, I've seen TaylorMade, but what's going on with Ping? What's going on over here? What's going on over there? So. I get it. It's just human nature to want to see everything.
For sure. And
but no, Mizuno's doing good, and I think they're putting a big emphasis on their woods this year. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. It's a tough category to get into, man. Like you've got your big three in Titleist, TaylorMade, and Callaway. Cobra's snipping at their heels and trying to gain traction and what have you and get there. And I think the Future Fit 33 is going to be really, really great for them to gain that traction. And I think the new driver looks incredible and feels incredible too. No, Ping. Sorry, Ping. Sorry, top four. Ping is up there. Sorry, I forgot to say Ping. The top four would be Ping, Callaway, Titleist, and TaylorMade, with Cobra kind of snapping at their heels in regards to. And I'm talking about at retail, yeah.
Sure.
So it's going to be interesting to see what happens this year. I've got my thoughts on what I think is the best driver and what I think will be top of the tower. And obviously I can't say anything yet because we haven't hit embargo on everything, but
sure.
I look forward to kind of having that discussion of my early predictions.
Yeah, and I mean there's no shortage of cool stuff, no shortage of cool gear stories to be had. And with all of these videos popping and things like that, and we talked about PGA Tour kicking off their season, and Hawaii is always a really fun time of year. Because you see the raw images starting to hit the conforming list, and those of us that are just gear junkies, we're scouring this Getty Images and the USGA conforming list just to see what's coming. And then you start to see it in real life and in images and things like that when players are testing it this early part of the year. Oh, I mean, obviously we are not in Hawaii right now, unfortunately. Maybe next year. You don't know. So when they come back into the mainland and get over on that West Coast swing, I'm gonna jump out on tour and start mixing it up a little bit and
Nice.
get back into some of the tour trailers and talking to some of the tour reps and poking through bags and kind of seeing what's trending out there, and then how it kind of pertains to what we see at retail, what we see true spec in the fitting environments and things like that, and just start to connect some dots for some of our listeners and viewers that are scratching their heads up north going, well, I don't get to play golf again for another 2 months. What should I be looking at when it finally thaws out? So we'll do the legwork for you.
Sounds good. Love it. I will not be doing that. That's all on you.
That's me. I will happily take that charge and go deep dive some tour players' bags and have those conversations with my fellow nerds.
I think that would be cool. I look forward to seeing that. But on that, I think we've been talking for long enough, and everyone probably wants us to shut up. But
that's fair.
Really quickly, we've still got the hotline, so I don't know. Do some mark if we've got any calls coming through, but we can need to do that soon. But it's 480-442-1168. That's 480-442-1168. With everything that new is launching, this is the perfect time to call that hotline and ask any questions you've got, and we can answer them for you the best of our ability. We've hit everything. We've seen everything. And then you can follow us on all the socials. What are they, Chris?
Oh, buddy, I was just waiting for you to ask. So over on X, @fully_equipped. And on Instagram, we are @fullyequippedgolf. And then don't forget our Fully Equipped YouTube channel, where we have a ton of content dropping. I mean, almost daily now.
Yep.
With everything that we shot in Carlsbad, a bunch of testing that we've done in-house, and then check out the social channels and the YouTube channel on TrueSpec as well, where we have a lot of reviews of new product being compared to the 2024 product. So a lot of content out there for you guys, answering some of the questions and addressing some of the fitting angles, we'll say, on some of this new product coming out.
Cool. All right, guys. And on that note, see you next week. Peace.